still feel the same. Still feel the same.
Hello, folks, and welcome to Coming Up Comic and Film. I am your host, Kelly McGee, and we are here live at the studio on the northwest side of Chicago, and it's a very special day. This is the first interview of the new year.
Oh, my God.
And, today we've got Ruse in the house. Say what's up, Ruse.
Thank you, studio audience. Thank you, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. What is up? I'm so happy to be here on Coming Up Comic and Film, this amazing show doing amazing things. What episode number is this?
This is episode number 17.
17?
Yes,
there
17.
we go. Special 17. 17 again.
Yes.
I've been longing to be number 17.
17
for a
again.
long time. I haven't been 17 again since I was 17.
Yes.
So this is amazing. Feels really good. Happy to be here and 17 once again in my life.
Yes. It's funny because before we started recording, we were talking a little bit about the moon landing.
Yeah, the moon landing, yeah. Well, how do you feel about the moon landing? I don't know if I got your opinion.
Well, it's something that I never really thought too much about, but the internet, right? So
Yeah.
it just shows you things sometimes, and then it leads you down a rabbit hole. And the next thing you know, you're YouTubing videos on the moon landing hoax.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure you saw Bart Sibrel, right?
who's that?
I mean, he's like the leader of the moon landing.
You know what? I think he may have. Is he the guy who got punched? Or
Yeah, I think that's him.
okay.
He's bald.
So yes. I didn't remember his name, but he was in a couple videos I found online. He was being interviewed on one, but then he also did this documentary called like A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to
That's
the Moon.
him. Yeah, that's him for sure. That's
Yeah.
the guy.
Yeah.
See, he's funny because he just like I don't know how to feel about him because he asks the right questions, but he seems so set in his version of the story that like when he talks to people who might have any reputation, he just ends up kind of repeating himself and saying the same things. Like I can't tell if he's really committed to the story or if he like really believes it, or if he just convinces himself of all this stuff surrounding. Like he's almost like if you had somebody who's like a super big fan of an artist and then they just stalked them. That's kind of Bart Sibrel's whole career is just like stalking Lance Armstrong, like saying, "Why won't you text me back?" But he raises a lot of good questions because there are things that look weird. But like he never plays devil's advocate or tries to give any leeway to anything, and I think that discredits him a little bit. Like one thing he always focuses on is how it looks really funny in one of the shots where they're supposedly like on their way to the moon. They're like a quarter of the way there. I can't remember how far they are, and it's looking out of the window, and he's saying that the shot's impossible because of this, this, and this. And it's something that was never released. It was only in their archive, and then when you move over the thing that was over the lens or whatever it was, then you can see how
see the earth in the window.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just looking out the window towards the earth, and it was The thing that Bart Sabral is trying to prove is that it's an optical illusion to make the Earth seem farther away than it really is, because like the way they shot it. Because it's they're supposedly telling you that the camera's across the room and it's looking at the Earth, when really it's the camera right in the window with like this lens on it that makes it look farther away.
Right. I just watched something on that exactly, and it was like. The shape of the window, they were basically trying, like, they were only so far away from the Earth, but they were trying to make it look like the Earth was like teeny tiny like this.
Yeah.
Where in fact it was like they were still close enough to the Earth
Yeah.
where it was like, it's just all you could see out the window. So they kind of like put a little cut around, like an edge around the window, so it looked like a circular Earth in the background.
Yes.
But there was footage they found where they remove that piece, and then you can see, and you see kind of like people like moving about the cabin. So,
yeah, well, and it's only for like a couple seconds. Like
Right.
they don't just remove it for a second and then they put it back on. But it's unreleased, and that's something that Bart Sabral focuses on a lot. But like, because that one's kind of hard to explain, because that would be them while they're supposedly on their way to the moon. So it's like, why would you make the Earth look farther away? Unless it's true that you can't leave the Van Allen radiation belt, in which case you're stuck in orbit around the Earth and you can't go any farther, so you have to make it seem like you're farther. Because that's what you would say if you're somebody who thinks they didn't go to the moon. You would say
Crazy.
that they just couldn't escape that orbit, because if you go past that, there's so much radiation that nothing living has ever passed that.
Right.
That unless something has, and we can prove it. But yeah, so I hope we go to the moon. I hope all this stuff is over with. We just go to the moon now. Like, I hope Elon just says it and then they do it and they go to the moon, and we can just stop talking about the moon landing once and for all. Because it's like, if we actually did it and it's like a modern technology and we see it, then it'll be we won't have to debate it anymore. I mean, we can just say they lied last time, but this time it was real for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it happened.
I don't think
it was a hoax.
I don't think it happened. Well, and I think I was talking about it earlier. I think they couldn't have
pretty crazy.
predicted the internet. They could never have predicted the internet. So that's what's
Right.
funny about it, is because it doesn't look. It looks good for that day's standards and that day's technology, but they never would have predicted that there would be people 50 to 80 years later just looking at it on a cell phone, on a computer, analyzing it.
The shadows and
Yeah,
things like that. Yeah.
because they just thought, we have to make this good enough for this one broadcast, and if it wins us a war, it wins us a war.
The other thing interesting, and then we're going to move on, but the other interesting thing about that is the footage was never really that great that people saw in their homes that the networks were able to broadcast, because the networks didn't get like a clean feed of it. They had to get like secondhand video of like a reel, like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It would be like if NASA was the only person in charge of what you can see, pretty much. So then it's like normally you get a feed, but instead NASA's like, we're going to give you a thing that you guys can all point a camera at.
Exactly. Cool.
which is an interesting way to do it.
Well, I did not plan about talking about the moon landing, but I like it. I dig it. I dig it.
I mean, like I said, I have a hopeful. I don't think we went to the moon, but I hope we will still. I hope it can just happen once, just so we can say we really did. Can we put it to rest? Can we go? We don't have to go to Mars. Let's just go to the moon once. Let's go to the moon once. Let's get a good video, like
We don't have
4K
to go to
GoPro
Mars.
footage on the moon, like GoPro moon footage. That would be really cool.
Sick. Incredible. Wow.
And it wouldn't be that hard if we could just get there.
Wyatt Chipman.
Yes.
You are the star of Ruse Radio.
Oh, yes, I am. Yeah. The greatest podcast of all time. No offense to anybody. I say that wherever I go.
It's an incredible podcast. So incredible that you were nominated for a Gazelle.
Yes, I was. And I'll say, I think that election is something you could look at. I'm not sure. I mean, it's something we might want to look into, because Ruse Radio is the greatest.
my gosh.
No, I honestly, I wasn't even expecting to get nominated, and it was you that told me. So I thought that was funny. Like I looked, I saw, I got a notification on my phone. Congratulations for your nomination for the Gazelles. I'm like, what is she even talking about? So that's how I figured out.
No way.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
it was your message.
Cool.
So I had no idea before that. So, which is funny to me, just because it's not. That means I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even know what was going on.
Right.
And people just happened to put my name in.
Yes.
So, and honestly, I just feel like it's something where if I had more notoriety somehow, it would have been a no-brainer. I think it's just that I'm very good at getting popular amongst the comedians of the group of creators, like the groups of comedians. But now I need to figure out how to like translate that to everybody else, you know, because it's just, I don't like just generating a mass audience. It's like an impossible puzzle to me because I don't even try. I just do other things and hope that happens. 'Cause I feel like you don't want to chase an audience. You don't want to do all those things. You just want to hope that people want to see what you do. So
that's interesting because it leads me to going back a little bit. We talked earlier, and I want to segue back into Ruse Radio and you interviewing more people other than comedians. But I want to find out first, how did Ruse start? I know you're from Michigan. Let's hear a little bit about how you got to Ruse Radio pre-Chicago.
Okay, so I made music since like 2012, 2013, and I was making music with a friend of mine. Like originally, I think I've worked on songs like here and there from when I was like 8 years old to this time. But I want to say around this time is when I started to seriously make music. And you could still find the songs online. Like if you type in Ruse Duke Westlake Cypher or Ruse Death Cap, I want to say is one of the other songs. And there's stuff from before even that I don't know how you would find it. I might have lost it forever. But there's stuff I made in middle school, I remember. There's so many little things. So I'd made music since then. One thing I would do in high school is I would, like, whenever I had to give a speech in a class or something like that, I would turn it into a rap. I would make it a rap. And one of my best moments of all time. And I want to say I was already going by Ruse at around this time, because I think I changed the name to Ruse around 2012. It had to be around 2012. So I went on stage. So it was for a job training program called Teen Quest, and that was from Genesee County's G card thing that they had. And so it was funded by the county, and it's something to train kids how to get a job. And so you go through this whole program. It's after school, and it's in a bunch of different areas, and at the very end you're supposed to give a speech. And at the graduation ceremony, it's all boring. It's just like a bunch of people wearing suits. It's very boring. And so I remember, like, I put all the bullet points down for like what you had to put in the speech and all that, because it's like the speech had to include, I want to say, like 13 different things. It had to say all the things you learned in Teen Quest. It had to say who your instructors were. You had to include the chant that you have and all this. You had to do all these different things. And so when I had to present it, it was going to be like 3 or 4 days between then and then. And I knew, like, it would be perfect if I could just get it right, like if I could just nail it. And so I remember, like, the last day I had to, like, finish writing it, like, right before I went up. It starts with, the quest is done, but the journey's just begun. It was fun here. Clearly I wasn't under the gun, but I'm really ready now. See, I can't ask Siri how to be the one to make my employer revere me. What is Teen Quest? A program that can deploy me to be the best employee I can be. Not noisy or coy, but with poise. Each choice is delicate. And you can't forget the business etiquette. That's the presentment of you, your tone of voice. Your mood ought not be rude if you want to be employed. Gotta be professional, keep it exceptional, respectable, and they'll see that you are a professional. Again, what is Teen Quest? More or less a program to help us be ready for the inevitable, made to make, reaching out to the average teen, made to make them incredible, whether alone or in a team, professionally sensible, and that's incredible to me. Props to Miss Sunyati, before in an interview with a bomb bigger than Nagasaki. Now watch me, I'm the bomb, all the screen kamikaze when I'm coming from out of nowhere on the job scene positively. Blame it on my PMA, my positive mental attitude that'll be an aid in the workplace. Plus the way I communicate can demonstrate my thoughts. Great, that's objective 8. And next was 9, expecting change. It's accepted that nothing ever. So whatever. So you're saying all these different things.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, like, when I did that at the ceremony, it was like 1,000 people at this ceremony. It's super boring. And like, I was the last person to give a speech, which I felt good for the other speakers, because it's like, you would hate to go after this. It would suck, because it's like, you know, and they help set me up, because they're just giving their normal ass speeches, just doing it. And then I go up there and just that room, like, they start trying to make a beat and all that, like doing like everything. They went crazy. That room blew up. It's like I went from like nobody to like the coolest guy in the room with like 2 minutes. But that's like, just that to say that I've been doing music for a long time, and like when I started doing the podcast, that was just I feel like it's see, even if I was to explain that, I would have to say that I did an interview show called 60 Seconds With, and that was a show where I would show up and I would just do a full interview. Like I would talk, I would do research on you. I would like come up with good questions that I have all written down. And then when I show up, I have you hold like something as a microphone, and I would tell people to try to answer the questions in like a restate format. Like if I say, what's your favorite color? You say, my favorite color is blue. If I say, where'd you go to school? You say, I went to school here. Because that way it's 60 seconds. So I'm cutting down a 15-minute interview of you to like 60 seconds, like just 60 seconds of you talking. And every time you're going to get something unique and different if you do it right, because everyone's going to talk about different things, and like someone's always going to be interesting if you cut out 14 of the 15 minutes of them talking. But it just took so much time and so much effort to make those. But that was the first time I did it for free, but that was the first time, and I want to say there's 70 episodes and they're all on YouTube, but that was the first time I ever did like an interview thing. And that's how I learned that I could do that. And I think what I learned too is that the way I approach interviews and the way I approach talking to people, there's just something about that works. And I think a podcast allows for more of that, whereas like the format I was doing before, you have to cut so much stuff out, so you lose a lot. Where I think like a lot of the stuff is that like magic in the middle of just 2 people talking, and that's like how you get someone to give you a genuine interview, is by engaging the right way. So I learned a lot of that from that, and then I started doing the podcast, and I want to say 2018, and then it really picked up around 2023. So.
Okay, so how old were you when you did that rap?
That one would be I had to be like 17.
Wow.
Maybe 16.
So at that point, who had been some of your influences?
I like Watsky a lot. If you've heard of George Watsky, but it's just like, or Eminem, obviously. But there's so many people. Like Kendrick Lamar, probably, but not a whole lot. Like I love Kendrick Lamar, but I don't think I had listened to him much back then. It's just hard to say, because I don't honestly, like, for my whole life, I don't think I've listened to a whole lot of music. Like I think I've listened to a decent amount, but not like a lot. It's almost like if you made movies and you just don't watch a lot of movies, because I'll see filmmakers who do that sometimes.
Right.
I feel like that's how I am towards music. I listen to podcasts more than I listen to music.
Wow, that is so interesting to me.
Yeah, and I almost feel like it helps, because I'm not getting too many ideas in my head and seeing too many different things like that all the time. Because I've always been that way. So that's why it's hard to pick influences. Cess Crew, I guess. I liked them a lot around that time. And I would say like I could even see a lot of like influence from them in maybe my earlier raps. If you know, but Cess Crew, they were signed to Tech Nine's label.
I'm not
Tech
familiar.
Nine's great. I mean, he's great as like an independent artist. He's one of the people who's been independent forever. And he's never not been independent. And he releases stuff so often, like an album a year, like a mixtape a year for 20 years, 30 years. It's just maybe like 2 mixtapes a year. It's just crazy.
So what was your family life like? You grew up in a small town in Michigan.
Swartz Creek.
Which is not far from Flint, Michigan.
Yes. Well, my mom is a nurse, and so I will say that's it's always nice to have a nurse mom. I've learned that more people have nurse moms than you would think. Sometimes you'll say that, they'll be like, me too. So shout out to my mom. My mom's great. You know, I have a mother I had a mother and a father, so that's really good.
Yes.
That's like something really good to have.
Yes.
Gotta say, can't complain there. My parents divorced when I was like 3, but I gotta say, I had a mom and a dad, so I think I won on that one.
Amen.
But that's a fun one. And I actually think it's a good time for your parents to divorce, boys and girls, is like 3 years old. That's probably one of the best times. It's
Yeah.
like between the ages 0 and 5 is the best time for your parents to divorce, because anything after that, you kind of remember. You don't want to remember them getting along.
Right.
But it's always like weird to me now in retrospect, because like now I realize there was a time when my mom and dad got along and lived together. So, but to me, that's what the world always was. But I would say, like, overall, my life was probably great. Oh my God, my life was. It almost makes me think sometimes, like, you ever feel like you are just lucky to even be alive and blessed and to have the opportunities that you've had up to this point?
Yes.
Like, there must be something going right for you to be here right now. And maybe that's like leads to a sense of responsibility. Like, I have to do something because I've been given these many opportunities and this many chances. Like, that's how I feel when I look back at my life. I feel like it's been too easy almost. Like I bet if it was harder, I might be famous by now. I might have already done it.
I love that attitude.
Yeah.
So are you an only child?
No, I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, big family.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But most of them were not like the same mom and dad. So one of them is the same mom and dad, and then all the other ones are. One is the same brother under my dad's side, and then the other ones are all on my mom's side.
Cool.
So yeah. So, and my sister would be like, my mom had that partner and me and my sister was like the last one. Like, she pumped out 5 babies. She's done now. So it was one of those things. Yeah. But I was definitely like not the leader of the pack. It was definitely bottom of the pack for a while.
Yeah.
I remember that they told me my wiener was going to fall off. That's what puberty was. You find out if your wiener is going to fall off or not.
Oh my gosh.
Told a lot of things from my older sisters.
But okay, so your siblings were kind of picking on you.
Yeah.
Did that
Trauma for sure. Yeah.
Now, did that turn, like, what made you want to be a performer? How did that, like, where was that? And you obviously, it happened when you had to do that presentation and you had the idea to do it as a rap, which was so genius. Was that like kind of the first time that you ever really had done something like that, or you had been doing that for a while?
Yeah, I've been doing that for a while. I feel like I do that intuitively, and that's like what I learned to, like, once I learned I can rap, and once I learned that's like something I can do in my own way, that's just why I started to do that anywhere else. Because I learned like that I have the capability of taking something and making it something special. Like, that's how I feel like it is. You're making it like art in that way.
Right.
But yeah, I would say for me, it is the most valuable form of expression that I was ever able to find, and that's why I would do it. Like, I just learned that that's the way that I can express myself in like a genuine way that I feel is bigger than me, in a sense. Like, it's like just writing a song or just being able to express a thought that way. I feel like I'm able to express it almost more articulately than if I was to express it in a sentence. And so by learning how to do that, I just feel like once I figured that out, I just tried to channel as much as I could into that. But I would also like even say that I notice that the way my parents gave support for that kind of thing, like if I was to like show my parents a song, they would never be like, "Oh wow, this is amazing, great job, like I'm so proud of you." I never heard anything like that ever. So I have to imagine that makes me better as an artist, because it probably makes me never satisfied in a sense. Like, I'm never expecting anybody to give me anything, so that way it's always good when people say anything at all, because it's like, oh my god, like you care, you actually have an opinion on that. Or it's, it doesn't matter when anybody doesn't like it. It doesn't matter either way, because it's like you just make it to make it, and you're not worried about the outward reactions of people. Because I think that's like the way it can go if you overdo it as a parent, and oh my gosh, everything you do is so great and great job. So I feel like, because I barely got that at all, that actually made me better. But
Interesting.
but I wouldn't say, I don't think parenting is this or that. I don't think there's any right way to do it. But when I think about myself and like my reward system and like how much I care about what people say about what I do, I think a lot of it's probably just because I don't feel like it's ever really mattered all that much.
Wow.
In a good way. Like it shouldn't matter all that much. You should just feel like whatever you do is fine, and whatever, like your parents are always going to love you no matter what you do.
Right.
Like as long as your parents make that clear, I don't think they have to then go embrace every single thing you ever do always and say you're perfect,
Yeah.
Like I said, parenting is impossible. So I ponder these things. Like what would you do as a parent? What would I do as a parent? And
Right.
I don't think there's a right answer to a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I think so. It's like you just get lucky with whatever parents you get, hopefully. Hopefully your parents are good enough and they pass the parent lottery and they're good enough,
They say you choose your family. Like spiritually speaking, like somewhere, somehow, some way in the heavens, like we choose our parents, and
I like that.
maybe it's based on our karma from past lives or whatnot, but that's cool. I respect the admiration you have for your parents. I have the same for mine. I love my parents. Let's go back to the 60-second interviews, which was kind of the start, if you will, of Ruse Radio, because you started interviewing people.
Yeah, it was like when I was a little baby fetus, in my fetal stages. That was interesting because the way it started, I was in Chicago when I was in a band called Lemon Collie. So we were in Chicago and we just did a gig with the band called Swatches. And so we're standing outside and I had my camera and I said like, oh, I could interview you guys while you wait for your Uber, because they're waiting for an Uber. And someone said like 60 minutes with, and someone else said like, oh, 60 seconds with. And I was like, oh, that's genius. And so I did like a quick interview, and that's the only one where I like tried to make it as fast as possible and do an actual quick 60 seconds interview. After that, I would always cut them down. And for me, I just remember when I started doing those, it was like the most, to me, that was the most valuable thing I had ever done creatively. And the same thing with the podcast. The podcast is that, but more, where it's like all the people I'd met through doing that, especially because I did it for free. Like it's something that no one would think to do for free, and that's why it's so effective to do it for free. Like people would, and if you charge for it, you're gonna get a small, tiny fraction of what you would have gotten before. Like I've thought about bringing it back now and charging for it, just because I would only do it now if I got paid. Because again, it's just so much work. I mean, you're doing an interview, so just that alone, let's say that's an hour of research, or like 30 minutes maybe of just like watching someone's videos, looking at their social media, coming up with questions, and then when you show up, you got all that ready, the travel there, and then doing the interview itself, and then leaving, all that. Let's say that's 2 hours. So now we have 2.5 hours. And then you have the editing, which is another like 4 hours probably. I mean, like, because you have to cut down the process is like you have a whole interview, you cut out all the silence, and then you cut out all the parts that might not be interesting, and then you cut out everything from that. So eventually you have a 7-minute cut, and then eventually you have a 5-minute cut, and then eventually you have a 3-minute cut, and you got to get it down to 60 seconds. And so that's it, like, but it's doing it right that makes it good. And so that the whole point being like no one would think to do that type of thing. And I think like offering something of actual value to artists and developing like an actual relationship with people, like just those things have done more for me than anything else. And that's what the podcast does too. It's the same thing. It's like giving people something actually valuable to offer them, but also like it's creating a real relationship simultaneously, like just through doing it. Like it's different than if you just meet someone in passing at a comedy show or something, because you're actually talking with them and you're actually engaging with them.
Yeah.
So like to me, that's what I learned through the 60 seconds with more than anything, is like, oh, that's, because at first I was thinking, oh, this would just be a good thing for me to do for my music. Like it'd also be good to interview people so people will see my music. But what I learned is it's just so much bigger than that. Even. It makes everything I do bigger than itself, in a sense.
Cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah. And it's the coolest thing I do, if you ask me. It's the reason I'll be able to talk to people I won't even believe I'm talking to. Like Martin Phillips was a crazy guest that I had on my podcast not too long ago. And he's one of the Kill Tony Golden Ticket winners.
Wow.
And he's just a very funny guy. Like he's just genuinely funny. And he's one of those people where it's like, oh, I'm surprised he actually is even here in front of me now. And I hope to just have more and more of those experiences, to the point where it's like ridiculous.
And how did you get that interview? Did you just write
Just
him?
reaching out to people. And like, from my understanding, that's how a lot of podcasts do it. I don't think that they have, like, obviously you could have a publisher, like someone or not a publisher, but an agent or anything where it's like they're reaching out and they're doing a lot of that. But I think with podcasts, especially if you're doing like a casual one, like what I'm doing, I think like messaging someone on social media is not unheard of.
Right.
It's just like some people I've noticed just in general, they like wait till they see you once in person or like they just have certain rules in their mind. And that's just what you have to deal with some people. But other people, they'll just do anything. They'll just come right over and do any show. So it's just kind of, that's why I use message as many people as you can and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's basically been my method from the start. Just send out as many hooks as I can at a time. And hopefully that works. Because, the other question you would have is like, how do you get so many interviews? How do you get so many people to interview? But I think it's just constantly looking for new people all the time.
Yeah.
And like everybody has random connections to other people. That's the other thing. Like whenever I meet one person, that person's probably connected to like 5 other people I've never heard of that are just as interesting as them. And that just happens over and over and over again, especially you're in a city. It just never ends. It's like an endless spider web of people.
So socially, where do you hang out and meet people? Because surely you meet people in person, like on the scene. Are there places that you go regularly?
I used to go to the mics often, and like honestly, I like to think about myself like at this point in my brain, the lore is like I'm like Batman. Ruse is like a Chicago Batman figure, and I just when I come out at a mic, it's like, oh my god, it's Batman. Like it's really him. It's like the bat signal is out, and you see Batman. Because I haven't been to the mics that often, but when I go, it's always a legendary. It's a legendary thing. Recently, I was just at Trigger Warning for the first time.
Cool.
Oh, yes, it was a phenomenal time at Trigger Warning. My friend Steve was debuting for his comedy career. He keeps calling open mics performances. I'm trying to get him to not say that. We're working on it, but. Yeah, so that was great. But I need to go to more. I mean, Power Hour, it was the reason I ever even ended up on Roast Battle was that I went to Power. That's how I met you.
Yeah.
So Power Hour is one I need to go to more. I haven't been to a lot of other ones just because I always because I haven't scoped it out in my mind, I don't know how I'm going to dazzle these people.
Right,
Every time I got to blow them away with my raw talents and skills. So I'm always worried about that. But the answer is no, I haven't been on the scene as I should be. And that's like one of my New Year's resolutions. I got to go to more actual shows. Like not only do I have to go to open mics, I should be going to people's shows. Rumor has it, you get booked on more shows if you go to shows. This is what people say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Gotta be out there.
Yeah, and like it doesn't hurt too, especially if I'm meeting comedians, talking to comedians. What is the best place to see a comedian is like in an actual show format. Like that's where you see them act. Their talents really shine, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's also just such a great way to meet people, especially doing what you're doing. Because you can just like message somebody, and that's a great tool, but also it's great meeting people in person and being able to ask them in person to be on your podcast.
Or even if they know that I went to one of their shows, it makes a world of difference. They're like, oh, well, he actually came out and supported me, so maybe I'm more likely to do it. Yeah. What are your like aspirations for this show? Like, how do you see this show changing and expanding? I mean, when I spoke with you last time, even it was still coming up comic. There was no and film.
Yeah.
So it's definitely moved more towards film in time. Yeah.
I also kind of moved more toward visual storytelling, but like using the 8mm video camera. But
for like the behind the scenes content and stuff. Yeah.
But I still am going to continue doing the pod. I love sitting down with people and just like similar to you, finding out just about all these different artists in Chicago. I am focused on comedy and filmmaking, but the filmmaking thing just happened because there were some comedians that were making movies. And then through that, I met some other people like Max Fitzpatrick who dabbled a little bit in like improv and comedy, but he's really an actor.
He was in Donovan's
a writer,
movie,
right?
Yeah.
So, but then since then, I've had Jerry S. Gonzalez, I've had Alex Perez, and which is a good segue. You mentioned how we met at Power Hour.
Yeah.
But it's cool because through this friendship, through this connection, I've been able to make some other connections, but that really was the time where I'm like, I want to open this up to indie filmmakers as well, because I think that they also need and are looking for more of a platform to talk about their films.
Yeah.
So
For sure, yeah. And you know what's what I learned too with that kind of thing is if you ask them, like if it's like somebody who's doing a screening, and if you just ask them, hey, send me your film before we do the interview if you want me to watch it, half the time you just get to watch their movie for free.
Right. You know what? And
Which is just a fun thing as a film fan.
Because exactly, I love movies too.
Yeah.
But also there's like the social aspect, and that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier, some of the events and things that you do, but utilizing the space to have like networking events, mixers, screenings for indie filmmakers.
Incorporating it in more than just the podcast, but going above and beyond and making it like an actual live event, like a community.
Exactly.
Exactly. Because I mean, like, that's what I think a lot of people don't do right. Like, they don't have a core thesis, like a core thing they're trying to do, and then expand from there. Like, that's like I was describing to you earlier. Like, that's why I want Cash Bash to be the same exact idea as like the podcast is, where you're giving back to a community and you're making people feel like they're a part of something and included in something bigger than just my thing. Like, it's not, it is more than me, because it literally is. And so like by making it that way inherently, it's just bound to have an effect. And like doing so, like knowing that you want to support the local film industry and then making what you do actually genuinely do it. Like screening films is a great move in that direction. And Noah Guardado, I had him on the podcast for episode 135, somewhere around there. And he was interesting to talk to, because I met him through Jerry. So he had Jerry as part of his film festival at the Ramova Theater, and it was like Loose Ends and Friends, I want to say, or something like that. Loose Ends was Noah's movie, and then he screened a bunch of other movies. And his whole idea was that, like, if people aren't going to theaters and that's not happening, then it's up to us to like make our own little festivals and support indie films that way, and make it like feel like a premiere event, and make it feel special, and make all the movies feel like big movies, and treat them like that.
Yeah.
And that would, like, they had a red carpet and all this with like the actors taking pictures and things. So
cool.
Yeah, it was and to me that's the right answer. And now Jerry's doing that same thing. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
but he's doing
Tall
the
Boys
same
and
thing.
short films.
Exactly. And that's what Noah was saying, is he hopes other people do it. And so Jerry was involved in that. So I'm sure he was probably inspired by Noah's thing. And I just hope to see more and more of that.
Yeah.
And I hope you do more of that, because that's the exact thing that I think people need to really see more light in indie films, because it's just that there's not the right exposure in that world. The community doesn't get highlighted in the way that it could probably.
Yeah.
And like you said, those people do want people to see their movies. They want to talk about their movies. Yeah. So, and there's so many more. It's just like the comedy world, where there's so many people. It's crazy. Like, just so many different people and if you're in a city, they're right next to you, and they're so talented, and you just don't even know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you've helped me meet some of those
people. And I'm
people.
glad to hear that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's, to me, that means I'm achieving my life purpose. When you tell me something like that, that means everything I do is worth something. That's what that means. Because to me, that's the whole everything. That's everything you ever do. Like, to me, it's like I would rather inspire someone else to do something better than what I'm doing. I'd rather make two people meet and have something I did form a connection that's even greater than my connection with either of those people. But it's the result of my actions that led to that. Because that, to me, that's purpose. That's what makes things mean things.
Wow.
Is that chain reaction of your choices.
It's really cool. It's really, you have such a selfless outlook. And the first day I met you was at Power Hour, like you mentioned. Afterwards, some of us went out and we got to talking. You, before you left, asked me to be on your podcast, and I was so excited. And you've just been cranking out episodes. It's so cool. You just had your 251st episode
today, yes,
with our buddy Alex Perez.
Returning guest. I haven't talked to him since like 153. So 150 is like 100 episodes ago that I talked to that guy.
Wow.
In my apartment in that same format. So that was fantastic. Alex is awesome. Alex is a great guy.
Shout out to Alex Perez and his brother Tim Perez. I love the Perez brothers.
Alex is the first member of Kino Crew I spoke with, but one of 3 founding fathers of the Kino crew.
Yes, this is true.
I've collected all 3 Infinity Stones.
Nice, cool. You get your reward. I actually am having Nathan on tomorrow from Kino crew.
Another founding father.
Yes.
That gives you one more Infinity Stone to collect. Josh Weitzel.
I know. I will complete the trifecta with Josh one of these days, I'm sure. But yeah, so I just want to thank you for the connections. Kino crew, so supportive. You've been so supportive of a friend since I've met you, and really have interviewed so many of my peers. And you do, how many, is it 3 interviews a week? Is
one every
your
3
pace?
days, so 10 a month, because
Okay.
a month's 30 days, so every 3 days that's 10 a month, and then like it ends up being 2.5 a week if you do that math. Like it's 7 days, so
Okay.
2.5. So like basically, if you were a weekly podcast, it would be 2.5 times that. If it would be 2.5 times doing it every week, it's a lot. Yeah.
And so it started in Michigan. When did you come to Chicago? What year?
June 2023, but I didn't actually start doing the podcast here until like September of 2024. Just because I don't even know. I was just like settling or whatever. I just never had a reason. And I never had anybody, like a big pool of guests or any way to even know where to go with that. And then I was going to go to an open mic, and there just didn't seem to be like there was a bunch of music open mics, but there was comedy open mics I could find. And so I just went to an all arts comedy open mic, and that was where it all begins. That's where I meet James Najjar. That's where I meet Tim Perez. That's where I meet Andre Smirlos, Sean Shaw, a bunch of people I met just that day. And those people, it's all just blossoms from there, you know. It's like we were talking earlier about like how connected the industries are, like how many people know people. And like it's just so much more interconnected than you could ever even imagine. You know, even across fields, like people who are comedians know people who make movies, and people who make movies know people who are like graffiti artists. And it's just random stuff. So yeah, but that's how that all starts, is moving here and then doing that. And that's where I think I really settled in on one every 3 days. It was right around late 2024. Because ever since then, like last year I did 116 episodes. So I was 4 short of my goal.
Wow, incredible.
In my mind, it was 4 short, so it wasn't good enough. Like, but it's just it's an impossible goal that I set for myself, and that's kind of the point, is that it should be sort of impossible. Because if I had producers, it would be way more possible. That's the part that's annoying, is just editing these things. If I had people, if I could just send this off and I had money and I could just afford to pay some guy to do it all, that sounds amazing. So yeah, that's what's, because it was just what we're doing right now. Like I'm so happy I don't have to do any of the editing on this. This is the best.
That's
I'm glad you have to look at all the buttons and I don't.
I bet it feels good to not have to worry about that.
Because you're your own producer. I know how it works.
Yes.
You're producing this whole show. You're making this whole thing happen right now.
Exactly.
So, and it becomes stressful doing that. That's all the stuff that I wish I didn't have to think about. Like that's what makes one every 3 days add up. If it was just talking to people, that's nothing. That's nothing at all. Like this is easy if you had me. It's all of the other stuff that's just, oh my God, so much work. Even posting clips just takes time. I wish I had someone who posted clips.
I know, it all takes so much time. So how many times have you done Roast Battle?
Only 3 times, but every time was legendary.
Wow.
I'm like, that's something. I'm Chicago Batman. That's what I'm saying.
Cool.
It's like whenever he comes around, it's a legendary moment, and then he disappears into the shadows again. We all wait for him.
So when you go to Roast Battle, you're roasting all the comedians? That's sick.
Because so they saw me do, I had gone to open mics, and then I heard that at Power Hour you can freestyle. And so what I was thinking is, when I go to Power Hour, I can't just freestyle. It's got to be special. And so I bullet pointed stuff people said throughout the night at Power Hour, and then that was my freestyle. I just like said all the punchlines that people already said, and it's like, but it's building up to those things throughout a freestyle that makes it even better. Because it's one of those things where it's like to me, that's like genius crowd work. It's one of those things where you literally had to be there. Like if I showed you a clip of the video, you don't even get it. Like you would have had to sit through the entire open mic to know what I'm talking about. And it's the same thing that when they asked me to do Roast Battle, that's the same thing. It was the proposal was that I was going to do what I did at Power Hour, where I just mentioned a bunch of stuff they said throughout the night. And I thought that since it's recorded, it's on video, and also just since they were asking me to roast people, that it would make the most sense if half of it was written, where half of it's like I'm going to just go through each person and just roast each one. And then the other half is that secret weapon where it's like, not only did I just roast everybody, now I'm going to mention a bunch of stuff you just saw. So it's like, oh my God, well, he must have either just wrote that or he's freestyling it right now. And you know that as the audience because it's like to the top of your intelligence.
It's fresh, right?
Because you just saw them say that.
Right.
Like one of my favorite ones was it was the best in like freestyle moment out of any of it was the third time where I think it was between David Donick and Tito. And I think Tito said to David Donick that when you say the N-word, it's nincompoop. I want to say that was the joke. And so, like, when I'm freestyling, I'm saying, like, I think that I'm Ruse. I think I'm the truth. I think that if you coming at me, you're the N-word, which to me is, and I hold the mic out to the crowd, and the crowd says nincompoop, like they knew where I was leading them to. And that gets the crowd, like that was the most genius thing they'd ever seen.
Wow.
Me saying the N-word is nincompoop. So to me, that's the magic of it. And again, that doesn't even make sense out of context. Like you need me to explain all that to even understand why it would resonate with the audience so much in that moment. And I think that's what's so cool about it is it's genuinely for the audience. Like they genuinely feel like they were a part of it because it was made just for that moment. It couldn't even exist outside of it. It wouldn't even make sense if I showed you a video. And that's also why it helps to not freestyle the whole thing. Because like then if I would have just showed people clips, they'd be like, what the fuck are you even talking about?
Yeah.
So there's some great roast battles are so funny. I mean, like what I love about roast battle in general is you're just calling people the worst things you possibly can. I mean, it's the only place that's socially acceptable. So to make it a rap is even better.
Yeah.
I mean, cool. So I love being a part of it. I hope I can go call somebody fat on stage again sometime soon. I mean, that's literally what you're doing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you're saying, yo, I'm so cold there still. I pushed this guy and he'd roll down a hill. That would get applause.
I'm sure it would.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to catch you on Roast Battle because I know I've seen clips. I haven't seen it live.
We want Ruse. That's how we get me back.
Ruse.
If you want to see it live, we want Ruse. That's right.
Ruse, do you go by Ruse? Do people call you Ruse or do you prefer they call you Wyatt?
I allow my government name. I allow it. It's been like sometimes I just given up because sometimes like people will ask you what's your preference and you'll even say like, oh, probably better if you call me Ruse, and they'll just start saying Wyatt over and over and over again. So it's like not even, I'll never be able to hide it. Shout out Tim the mime. He's the worst offender of that I've ever seen. Tim, I hope you're watching this. He's a mime who talks way more than you'd think. I talked to him like 2 hours on my podcast. And yeah, he like said it to me at one point. I was like, I think he even asked me on camera. He's like, do you prefer Ruse or Wyatt? And I was like, oh, probably Ruse, but it's no big deal. And he said, oh, I'm so, my bad. I didn't mean to, if I would have known, I would have been calling you. And then he just proceeded to call me Wyatt again. And it's like,
that's hilarious.
Why do we even have that moment, dude? Obviously, you're just going to call me Wyatt. And so I've just learned that some people are going to dead name me. They're going to put it out there. So I've just accepted it. I've learned to think my name is cool, as we established. I think right before we started recording, we were talking about Wyatt Lee Chipman. I've learned to think it's cool. It's presidential. It's cool. It's regal.
It's cool. It's cool.
So I've embraced my name over time. I think Ruse is cooler, though. Ruse sounds more mysterious.
So where does Ruse, the name Ruse, come from?
Well, there's two explanations. One is the real origins, which was I was wrestling with my friends on a mattress, and my name was Maverick for a bit of time. I also had a character named Buttercup Bobby. That was one of my characters. He's a very fun character to play. And then you got Ruse, I think, came along because there was the song Chevelle, or the song by the band named Chevelle, and the song was called Ruse, and that was my entrance theme. And then I crafted my whole like character around that. But now, how I would explain Ruse, and I think this is how I do genuinely look at it, is that everything is a ruse, and that everything in life is role playing in a sense. And like in life, what you learn to do, it's like what they say in Buddhism, like there's yin and yang, and you learn to separate things like this and that. But in reality, the yin and yang make a whole. And so I think that you will never understand things as they are because you're constantly separating things and comparing things and like, oh, this moment is just like this other moment and this other moment, when really it's entirely unique and it's an entirely new thing. Always. It always is. That's what life is. And that's what Zen is like understanding that truly. But the moment you understand it, you've understood it and then it's too late. That's why you can't like actually put words on it, or because it doesn't, even me explaining it is not doing it justice for what it is to truly exist in a moment, you know? So, yeah. So I feel like if everything is a ruse, and nothing is as it seems, and everything is entirely unique, then like you should embrace that, and that makes things make more sense. Like to me, that's like a theory you could run with, and then just apply that to everything. And like, you know, you're not really any one identity that you have. You're multiple identities all the time. Like I am a musician. I do a podcast. I like movies. I like reading books. Like all these things you could say are different aspects of my personality, but none of them define me entirely as what I am. And I would never want to say that any one of those things is entirely what I am. I wouldn't want any singular aspect of my personality to define me ever.
I like that.
Because I think life is all about every different thing that you can experience at all times. Like it's a beautiful thing if you're open to it, you know. And so ruse, everything is a ruse, and then that's how I like to explain it. And then I think that could I think that that's also a good thing about like storytelling. A good way to think about storytelling is like you elevate a story in a sense, and you that's what like mythology was, the original story, and you would elevate a story and you just believe it because you want to believe it. And that's what we do with any story, like any movie you watch that makes you cry. Like you know it's not real. You know it's not real, but you still cry and it's still moving because it still resonates with you because it is real, but it's not real. And I think that's what we do all the time with everything, because everything's a ruse. Because everything's real, but it's not real.
Freak out, dude. I'm
Don't
tweaking.
you get it, man?
I'm tweaking.
Is it hitting you yet? We took it like, what, 40 minutes ago?
I'm feeling it, dude. No, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. And I've always said this, and what I learned is that's just basically like philosophy 101. That's just like the first thing that philosophers ever did is like, whoa, what is life and reality?
Yeah.
So this is funny. That was like 10-year-old me, like explaining ruse. Because that was before I knew that was like a thing that people already said. Yeah.
So what is next for Ruse Radio?
Next for Ruse Radio is just above and beyond in my mind. Like 4,000 episodes is my episode number goal. At this rate, it would take me about 32 years. So we got a little bit of a road in store. But, you know, I just see it as like, again, like I said earlier, I want it to be a vehicle to get me talking to people I can't even believe I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Like that's how I imagine it. Is like one of those things where right now, even now, like I look back like 100 episodes ago, and I think where I'm at now is like the people I can get now is way different than the people I could have gotten 100 episodes ago. And 100 episodes ago, I was just walking up to anybody, just kind of just shooting a shot at everybody. Just
You wanted everybody.
Yeah.
I remember you saying that. I want to interview everybody.
And now I realize I do want that, but it's impossible.
Yeah.
I would actually, there's too many people.
Right.
And so now I have, especially like having return guests and things like that, it's like you have to make a value judgment of like, well, you want to have everybody, but you also want to have like, you want the show to grow. You want the show to keep expanding and being bigger and better. And so that's the big question. It's like, how do I keep doing that? And I think I'm closer to that than I ever was before, but it's still a matter of just doing it forever. Like anytime there's anybody coming to Chicago, like visiting the city, if I can message them, I will. I'll be like, hey, this is Ruse Radio. I mean, at this point, I've met enough people that know like one or two, like if it's a comic that's touring, there's a good chance they might know 2 or 3 people in the city that I've talked to. So like stuff like that goes a long way. Like just following 3 of the same people makes a big difference. So that's, in my mind, when it comes to the future of the show, is just doing that same thing I've always done. Maybe moving out of comedy a little bit. Not like I wouldn't talk to comedians, but just that I want it to be obvious the show is so much bigger than that. Because to me, it just is. And like, it's a comedy podcast first and foremost. Probably just because of who I am, but also because of the guests I mainly have. And I think comedy podcast is just easier. It's just an easier format than like to try to be serious. You can still be serious on a comedy podcast. There's no rules. There's really no rules. I'm just calling it a comedy podcast.
Sure.
But I feel like I want to move towards like with film, like with talking with more filmmakers, and I've managed to do that recently. Like I said, Noah Guardado, Mike Capra. I'd recommend talking to him. He's super interesting. He's one of my longest episodes, 4.5 hours or 4 hours and 5 minutes, something like that. But also moving into music more. Like I want to talk to more musicians as well, just because. I mean, it's probably like the smart move as a musician.
Sure.
That's probably what I should just do, just to maybe get more gigs. That would be the good thing to do.
Yeah.
But what I find in general is that comedians are just the easiest to talk to. That's actually they're just easier to riff with, to chat with. Whereas like musicians are more. They're more like brooding, and they have more of like a metaphysical creativity where like they don't. It's like, if you ever see Rick Rubin talk, like they think that type of creativity. Where it's like, then you have like, I think filmmakers are easier to talk, like especially a director. I find they're really easy to talk to because a director has like a vision, like a solid vision, and they just want to share their vision with you. So they're really easy. I haven't tried actors yet, but I'm interested to see how that works. Like I said, mime went well. That was surprising. Didn't know how mime was going to go.
That's cool. That's what's cool about the name Ruse Radio is that you haven't limited yourself. It's Ruse Radio. You can talk to anybody.
Yes. Yeah. And I also think that just the way that I do the show, even, it's obviously not about anything in particular.
Right.
Like it's not any particular genre or anything, But and I like. No, there's no right way to do it. There's a million ways you could do it, but to me, that's like the way that works for getting casting the biggest possible net. I think it's cool that actors are doing podcasts now. There's so many actors that would be cool to see on a podcast. You can only imagine. Like Matthew McConaughey's been doing it for a while, but he's a fun guy. I'm trying to think of like an actor you haven't really seen ever do anything like that. I don't think Jack Nicholson would ever come out of retirement, but oh my God, that'd be a good podcast. Jack Nicholson. Adam Sandler did Joe Rogan once. But I think that's the only podcast I've ever seen Adam Sandler do.
Really?
I think it was I don't think he's done anything else. He's done like interviews, but I don't think he's ever done a podcast.
Yeah.
And Adam Sandler's the man.
Yeah.
He's the man. So there's so many. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But like that's the type of thing I would hope for, is just to make it bigger and better in anybody, like literally anything. It'd be a scientist, and the only thing I'm worried about a scientist or politician is I'm going to see it. Everybody gonna know how stupid I am. They're going to see it really quick. You think I'm smart? You're going to see.
I highly doubt that. The way you recited off that rap that you did years ago, and some of the information you shared earlier, I was like, this guy's like fucking Rain Man over here. But
I'm Rain Man.
Yeah, he's Rain Man.
All right.
So earlier you were talking about your superpower.
Oh yeah.
So as we begin to close out, you believe that one of your superpowers is letting people be themselves and showing that? Is that?
Yeah, and to shine my light upon others. Like one time I learned in life that my purpose is to shine my light upon others. It just hit me like a brick, like no other. Like I knew that was what I can do. And I just find that gives me the most purpose. It's like what you said earlier about like meeting people and your world expanding through something I did. Like that means that I'm following that right path. And like to do something like that, to shine your light upon others and to genuinely involve other people, I think that it's something that is like a long-term investment. Like you're not going to see a return right away. It's one of those things that over time you just see the slow build-up and effects of that, until it's incomprehensible and it's just a big conglomerate butterfly effect,
Yeah.
And I always think about the fact too that just so many people, like you never know who's watching or who sees something or how that works. I'm sure there's a million people, like so many people who have seen just random bits of things that like an interview or some clip of somebody, and it made them know someone exists, or it connected this dot and this dot, and then that's how that works. And just making more of those moments for other people, to me, is the ultimate thing. And I've learned that with an interview format, I can do it in a way where I can take whatever I have and just kind of pass it over to somebody else. But to I feel like just most interviews, most things like that, they don't have a spiritual viewpoint, or they don't have like a spiritual perspective in the way that they are conducting an interview. And like I think that there's a certain thing you have to do where you have to like take a step back and just kind of give that person a bunch of space to communicate, but like do it just right, so that way they'll like want to talk, and it's not, I feel like it's easier done than said. Even like you can't even really teach somebody how to do something like that. They just kind of have to figure out how to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's just it's such an intuitive thing to properly. But I think when you can do that, when you can connect with people, you bring something out of people that they didn't even know they had in them. And that's what I think like what happens in a good interview or a good podcast, because like they didn't even know they could talk for 3 hours in front of a microphone. They would have never been able to do that without me sitting across from them.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool.
Wow.
And it's like, I think that I just learned that's what I do that without even trying. I don't even know how I would explain to people how to do it. I've just learned that I can do it, and that there's something I must be doing right. And it's why I'm able to do this over and over again. It's why you can do a 3-hour episode with somebody you just met. It's the only way you could do something like that. It's the only way you could have an hour and a half with somebody you just met, is just by being able to give them enough, like especially if you're not doing your own thing the whole time, if you want them to feel like they were genuinely highlighted and they genuinely expressed themselves, because it's not a great feeling if you show up to an interview and then you just feel like, oh, what the fuck? What was that? Because I've had that happen to me before. I know what that is. So, and also just having something out there that's them, that's like a representation of them is cool. It's cool to be able to look up your name and a video pops up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool.
It's cool that you're highlighting others and putting them in the spotlight. And I know that's
and I'm
part
doing
of your
it for that
mission.
reason. And I'm doing it for that reason. I'm not like, I think that's so important, is that you're doing it to put other people in the spotlight and not for your own gain and not for anything else. Like, it really should just be that these, like, you want to build a community and you want to build something, because that's what I think leads to real results, rather than like me just hoping.
Yeah.
Because I think people who like my music, that's just like a byproduct of this at this point. Like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
But I think the podcast is its own thing, essentially.
Yeah.
That just becomes its own thing more and more. And what's crazy to me is, the more and more I do it, the more and more I realize I'm like filling a void. Like, there is an actual void for something like that.
Literally,
there isn't
in Chicago.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And so that's very cool to me, because that's kind of what I was doing back in Flint, but this is like a whole other level to do it in Chicago, because in Chicago it does have that like niche. People, like, there's so many hidden markets and hidden groups in Chicago, just little, like, but like deep, intricate stories to each one, and so much soul in each one. And I think highlighting stuff like that, that's another place I want to move towards more, is just figuring out ways to do that, because there's so much of everything all over the place, and it goes way beyond comedy,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Is there I mean, what's the future of this show? How do you see it moving forward?
A big part of what I am focused on doing, and I have been doing with the 8mm footage, is editing.
Yeah.
So that's something I need to get more comfortable doing, learning more on the production side, and then also just just continuing to interview a lot of different people in Chicago, just like you're doing. I like meeting people out on the scene, seeing what they're doing, and then inviting them in, which is, except for Jerry S. Gonzalez, how I've gotten and met most of the people are, friends that are in the comedy scene and now the filmmaking world. But I just want to keep having something to offer to people about the road an artist takes to get there.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. Like, I had sort of a different way to how I got to where I am. And to me, it's interesting to find out how people like yourself and any artist just got to be in the position they're at, and then to have the openness, the personality to sit down and be able to talk about it like we are, comfortably, and tell a story. I'm a storyteller at heart. I love telling stories. I love hearing stories. I love listening to stories, and I love finding out what makes people tick and going deeper. I like to talk about spirituality. I like to talk about like ghosts. I love talking about the moon landing hoax and things like that. just things that kind of make you think outside the box. I enjoy anybody who likes to have deep conversations like that. So for me, that's where I want to go, is deeper and be able to show more of myself to people, but also not show too much at the same time and keep something for myself. But that's kind of, I think, a balance you have to find when you're even doing something like this. You know what I mean? So, but I'm excited for the future. I really am. And it's exciting to talk to people like yourself that have so much positive energy and the light and the kindness. And yeah, it's just really a pleasure knowing you. And I love what you're doing in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. It's just positive comments like those that make it all worthwhile, folks. And I mean those things. I really mean that. I think any difference in anybody's life is all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
Right. Like what is, I think art, the whole point is to make some sort of difference for anybody. Mm-hmm. And the more you can do that, the better. But like if you're achieving it at all, that's success in my mind, So
yeah,
it's cool to hear anybody say anything like that at all.
Yeah.
Like anything to anything, any song I make, anything. Like if it means anything to you, that's awesome to me. So I'm really glad to hear that. And I'm glad, and it validates my efforts.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it should. I hope it does. What is your ultimate goal?
To make as much change in the world as possible, and hopefully that is positive change. That's my ultimate goal, because it lines up with all the other stuff I've already said, right? It's like, in my mind, making art, like, part of the whole equation is like, how do I get my art to more people? Like, how do I get to affect more people in a more efficient way on a more constant basis? Like, how do I continue to make the change that I make now on a bigger scale? Like, how do I just keep doing that? Because it's not about like being popular or getting famous or anything. It's about like how, I don't think the art is worth the same amount if it has less of a reaction. Like to me, art is valuable because of the communities and the response that is built around it. Like that's the stuff that makes art good, not just what the art is on the face of it. It's like everything surrounding it. So to me, that's the ultimate goal, is to continue to make that bigger and greater and better, so that way all the other stuff I do has a better chance. Like if I make a song, I've already got this big community around this other thing. So like, and someone once described to me like a funnel. Like it's like you're at the bottom of a funnel, the people who are going to consume all the stuff you do and they like everything you do. And all this other stuff you're doing, every time it's just like your people might fall into the funnel and they might just watch one thing every like 3 months. But then maybe there's this other person that's farther down the funnel that watches one of your videos every like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But then there's the person that sees every single thing and they like every single post. And like, those are the people that matter the most. Those are the people that are going to pay your rent, not those other 99% of people.
Right.
So to me, it's just building, again, like just making it so the more of that exists. Because also, I just don't want to have a day job. I want to have a day job where I can just work every now and then I can actually focus mostly on my dreams, maybe.
Yeah.
But have not gotten there. Sounds impossible. When I get there, I'll let you know.
Oh, you will get there.
I'm waiting for it.
Mark my words. We established it here.
Comedy Bar, Google, sponsor me. All right. We want Ruse on Roast Battle.
We want Ruse.
We need to start a movement. We need to start a movement.
It's happening. It's moving. I feel that.
I feel the ground shaking right now.
I feel that positive energy, that flow in the right direction.
That'd be crazy if there was like a literal earthquake right now. It'd be like, oh my God.
So I love what I'm hearing. I feel very inspired. What would you like to leave the people with? A little word of advice and inspiration after 251 episodes of Ruse Radio. Give us a little word of advice or maybe some inspiration before you close us out with a freestyle.
Okay. You're never, ever, 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 ever done with anything. Like, you're never, ever actually done with anything at all. And that's okay. That's a good thing. That's the reason that freestyling is good. It's the reason that improv teaches you good principles. I think, like, when you write things down and you finish them, when you get to revise, like when you write something out and you can go and revise it and fix it and do all these things, it's almost like freestyling, but you get a chance to fix it. And I feel like people get caught in the ideation process, or they get caught in like the idea of like, oh, I want to do something, but then they make all these reasons like, oh, it's got to be perfect. Oh, I got to do this. And I think that more often than not, it's never going to be good enough. It's never going to be finished. So just start at some point. And then once you've gotten started, you're in the thing now. But like people will stop before they even start. And I think that also that's why you can do so many things. If you can do so much more, if you always feel like you're never finished, if you always like think of success as not like an end goal, but as just like another part of a process, right? Where it's like one day, if you succeed, that's just going to be all the more reason to continue making the things you make. It won't be like when you're done. It'll be like when you're in the midst of making the thing. So you're never done. You're never finished. It just doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. And like I think that people like to think that one day it'll all be over and it's going to be great and you're going to be done. You're going to be finally done with doing all this stuff. Nope, that's not how it's ever going to work. You're never going to be finished and it's never going to be done. So just embrace that and then like enjoy your life. I think that's the best thing you can do is just learn that, you know, it's okay to not be perfect and not be concluding with all these things, like not to make your masterpiece. You know, sometimes it's nice to have the masterpiece off on the horizon, you know. Yeah. In my opinion, that's the beauty, you know. Yeah. I don't think my best podcast has been filmed. I don't think my best song has been made. I think it's all somewhere along the way it'll happen. Yeah. And I won't even realize it when it happens. I'll like realize later. It's not the destination, it's the journey. Yeah, and like really believing that, like religiously, like really believing that. And that's again like getting out of the this and that, like, you know, that whole separation thing and just enjoying the moment as it is and being in that rather than comparing the moment and imagining the moment. But what if I had this? And but what if I had this? But you don't have those things. And that's just what it is. Yeah. And you're not finished and you're never done. And like, you know, I've seen people give up on life. I've seen people just get to a point in life where they're finished. They think they're done. And I think that's like the saddest fate of all is like to be alive but dead. Yeah, so, right. No shit. Yeah. And, you know, that's the way of the world, boys and girls. Tell the people where they can catch Ruse Radio. Folks, you can catch Ruse Radio, my podcast, the greatest podcast that has ever existed. It is on Spotify. If you type it in on Spotify or podcast, wherever you stream podcasts, I think it's just on all of them. You can go to Apple Podcasts, Ruse Radio, RUSE space RADIO. You can even catch Kelly McG on Ruse Radio. It's about episode 127 or so. Now that's on streaming services. You can see the video content on YouTube. So you go on YouTube, make sure you subscribe on there. You can see the full podcasts in their glory. Almost all of them is pretty much like uncut entirely. It's just the whole thing. It's all right there for you. Also, my music, you type in Ruse, you can find my music. Ruse Official on Instagram. If you type in like Ruse, maybe the song In Vain, INVAIN. Yeah, IN space VAIN. You type that in on Spotify, you'll come. My face will pop right up. Greatest rapper of all time. All that stuff's right there. I just dropped a song called Temptation. That song's fantastic. Temptation, look what you made me do. Now I don't want to go to war for you, but I hate to lose. And then the song, what's the other one? Bogart. This morning I was high for the sun rose, then the sun rose, and I got high. I've been hiding like a ninja in the blunt smoke. I've been high as a motherfucking pot pie. Baked as a motherfucking cake. You can catch me in the oven. If you hungry, bring a plate. Deep fried. Now who let your boy cook? I Bogart the joint to destroy a hook. Sick. Bogart out now. All these songs are out now. You can listen to them right now. Just type in Bogart Ruse on streaming services. So Ruse Radio is all there. Ruse all there. And then what else? I mean, next Cash Bash is going to happen in the coming months. I can say for sure I'm going to be at Gorilla Taco Party April 17th. It's going to be at an actual taco store. We're going to be in the back of a taco joint. There'll be tacos served there. You can literally get a taco, support Mexican business. You know, this is how we fight ICE. Right? We support Mexican businesses. We get Mexican food. We eat tacos. All right, that's the real way. You got authentic Mexican near you. You go support them right now. All right, because I'm telling you, that stuff is delicious. And so that's going to be at Gorilla Taco Party. And that'll be really fun. It's April 17th. I hope to see you guys there. And other than that, Cash Bash is coming back sometime real soon. As soon as I'm not completely broke anymore, because I'm fucking supposed to do me a money giveaway. I'm supposed to be giving away money. How am I supposed to do that when I'm broke? So maybe we get a sponsor, we get something. Somebody wants to. Also, we give away tickets at Cash Bash. I don't know if I mentioned that to you earlier too. We give away prizes, we give away tickets to other shows, we give away money. Cash Bash is all about giving back to the community. So, super. I just love to do that show. I want it to be bigger than ever. I want to give away Teslas. I want to go above and beyond once the show is amazing and I'm a millionaire. But how do we get there? We get you guys going to the next one. So keep an eye out for that. Cash Bash Live on Instagram. And those have been at Surge Billiards, but maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll spice it up next time.
Yeah.
Who knows? Surge is a good spot.
I've been to Surge.
Yeah.
I like Surge.
But thank you for having me, for real. I mean, I'm glad to see you diving deeper into these worlds. It's very cool to see. When we last spoke, it was just a seedling. It's like, I'm interested in going into film, but I don't really know how I'm going to head into this. And I feel like since then, I've seen you do all these different things, and like it's cool to hear that I'm a part of that, because I didn't even realize that till today. Truly, I didn't know that I was so integral to all that. I just thought you just happened to stumble upon that. I didn't realize they saw you through Ruse Radio, which to me is just a cool little, again, like a little reminder of what the point of everything is. So because and then it's cool to know that I'm a part of your thing expanding. Yeah. Because that's cool. That's what I want to see. And I always want to see people following that. And I hope to see you doing some more film stuff. Maybe in this venue, we put together a little like 4-show extravaganza or something. We're going to watch 4 local films. Just like what Jerry's doing.
Exactly.
It's the way to go, if you ask me. So power to you, power to me, power to the people.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Ruse.
Thank you.
You're such a people person. Have you always been such a people person?
Yeah, it's a gift and a curse. It keeps you at bars way too late. It keeps you talking to people when you should have left 3 hours ago. I mean, but it also leads to, great conversations. So it leads to great relationships. But do I have a beat? Do I get to have a beat, or am I just supposed to freestyle a cappella? Because that's actually kind of harder. If I'm freestyling a cappella, I can do it. All right, so if I'm freestyling a cappella, I'm assuming that's the situation right now.
I don't know really how to throw a beat except be like, up, psh,
ooh.
Up,
hey, yo, hey, yo.
Up.
Triple P up in the place to be. Triple P, that's when poop, pace, and pee. I'm pooping, pacing around. You know that it's me, you know that it's the guy, you know that you never alone with the G, alone with the fly. Yo, I'm like a fly on the wall, I'm looking at y'all. Yo, it's like a book when I ball, I said a book when I ball. I write it out like a title, I'm riding on the wave, motherfucker, this the title, this my Bible. I wrote it all out, punch you with the left hook, my right hook coming straight from the best, yo, the best that it took, the best you better look when I'm coming with my knee, with my knee, I raise my knee up. Motherfucker, I don't need ya. Motherfucker, I deplete ya. You like a foul when I delete ya. Damn trick, I'm talking out like a ram stick. I'm saying you can't understand this. Yo, speaking Spanish. I'm speaking Spanglish, episode 17, the best when I mean, I'm coming like motherfucker, I'm evergreen, the best team when it's coming alive, I come from the sky, I'm coming down, I come with the vibes, yo, you wondering who, what, you say you the bro? I don't know, he's the dude from the show Ruse Radio with the rose, a rose, a metaphor, I got a bunch and I bet some more, I am your host, Kelly McG, the best, yo, rub my belly, I'm like a little dog. Rub my belly, I'm free. It's what a dog does. You rub its belly. Kelly McG, what do I call you? I call you Wyatt Chipman. Who the fuck do I call you? Are you Ruse? Yo, I don't wanna argue. I just don't know. Who the fuck are you? You know, bruh. I'm wondering right now, how the hell did you grow up? Do not ignore me. I read the information. You came from Swartz Creek. Bars.
Oh my god. My poor writing's so messy. I'm like, this poor guy. And I'm like,
look at how organized this is, guys. Like, you can definitely see the stream of consciousness.
Oh my
here,
god,
right?
hilarious. I'm
there's
dying.
just like, I like how there's 0 breaks. You didn't do bullet points, nothing. It's like, I know where everything is. I know.
I'm driving this car. Up.
Oh, yo. Yo, you gonna freestyle now?
That's hilarious.
Your turn now?
I actually do have a little freestyle I used to do at Power Hour. I'm trying to remember it. But they would sometimes, after, the mic, they'd be like, freestyle, freestyle. But I did have one that I used to do. And it goes like this.
Oh, okay. You want me to do a beat or you got it?
Sure, go ahead and do a beat. Wow, that's better than mine. My name is Kelly McG. I got my homies with me. We're down here at Power Hour, spitting jokes that are fire. We've got the best in the city, though Yelp says we're a pity. This bar ain't for weak hearted. Watch out, we're just getting started.
Amazing.
Out. Yes,
Wow.
that was my Power Hour.
Everybody's like standing O. Can't believe it.
Exactly.
I love it. Yeah. Folks, if you don't know, Power Hour, that's like that was like a song that would be designed for that room. Like that's actually, I could see that killing in that environment.
I've done it a few times. It's been a success. Didn't always come out that like smooth because you're like working with the band and you're like, play me a beat, and they're like, but no, I've done it a couple times and it's been a blast. But
Beautiful.
Yeah, that'll be toy. I feel like a rapper now. So
that was amazing.
Oh yeah, thank you. It's actually captured in films.
You got a rap name, Kelly McG is a rap name.
Kelly McG.
It works for a rap career.
Hell
it's
yeah.
like Wyatt Chipman's not a rap name, as I've established. Kelly McG is. Kelly McG is a rap name.
Thank you, Wyatt.
It's like, yo, Kelly McG into his house.
Hey,
you know what I'm
Kelly
saying?
McG.
And like the audience, like, whoa, my God, Kelly
Yes.
McG. It's like Wyatt Chipman doesn't roll off the tongue like
Yes,
that.
Kelly McGangsta.
Kelly McGangsta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Irish.
Yeah. In Ireland, that's how we identify.
Yeah.
Just put Mick before. I am a gangsta, but also I am Kelly.
You are Wyatt Lee Chipman, star of Ruse Radio, and it has been a total pleasure sitting down with you today.
Woo, yeah. Hope
My
to do
friend.
it again sometime. We're going to have you on Ruse Radio sometime soon.
Yes, I
Gotta
can't
make
wait
it
to come
happen.
back.
The legendary return of
Oh
Kelly
my
McG.
gosh.
Yes.
Well, I've made it for show 2 on Ruse Radio. I'm very excited. I know you have a 50 guest rule.
50 episode rule, but we're well beyond. You're like 127.
Perfect.
I'm like at 250. I've like doubled it at this point.
It is time.
It's time for Kelly
It is
to come
time.
back.
I'm coming back, folks.
People have been begging for
I'm
Kelly.
coming back. They want me back. They're getting me back at Ruse. But in the meantime, you have coming up comic and film appetizer. I am Kelly McG. This has been Coming Up Comic and Film, episode 17. And Wyatt, why don't you just take us out?
Okay, so let me try to think of a cool way to do this because I don't want to do Ruse Radio. I can't just say my thing. So I think I have a future as like a UFC announcer. I think I could do it. And thank you for joining us here today on Coming Up Comic and Film.
Folks, that's a wrap. Peace.
Just don't feel the same.
Back in the 1400s, they had this thing called rotary phones. Okay, and now obviously this seems archaic. I understand. What they would do is they would stick their finger on the inside. All right, they'd stick their finger on the inside. They would turn it until they got to a number. Took a long time. It was a waste of time. It wasn't a very smart way to do it. About around the, I want to say, the year 2004, they invented this thing called the home phone. Now, what the home phone does is you can use it in your house. And then around the year 2017, they made this thing called the Nokia. The Nokia changed the game. You could drop it. So that's basically the history of phones, if you were wondering. I did some research before this show. That's what I learned. Phones were not always around. You got to learn to appreciate how things come to be. Like phones.